D Brown back with Selina. You already know. First and foremost, hi Selina.
Hi Dee, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Welcome back to the Classics Presents Cinema Rehab. As you know, if you're seeing us with classic and remake shirts, you know what time it is. We're about to play classic versus remake, and today we got a good one. We got the Mummy, and the Mummy is like one of my favorite joints. So I am going to be representing the classic Mummy with Brendan Fraser, Rachel Wise, that star-studded cast. Anna Vosloo is the Mummy, and then Selena's going to represent, her shitty ass fucking remake. You know what I'm saying? So, who's in your movie again?
Who's
I'm just
not in my
kidding.
movie?
Who's in your movie? I just want to know who's in your movie again. That's all.
Tom Cruise, Russell Crowe, Jake, what's his name from New Girl.
Jake
Can
from,
never
Jake
remember
from
his
State
last
Farm
name.
is in your movie?
I can never remember his last name ever.
His name is Jake Johnson. All right.
Johnson,
Shame
yeah.
on you. I thought you watched New Girl.
I do. That's why I said Jake, what's his name from New Girl? Nick from New Girl.
Yeah, we're gonna just call him Nick from New Girl. How about that? So my
Not to
movie.
be confused with Nick from The Mummy.
I think that suits him better when he calls him Jake Johnson. Just go, yo, Nick from New Girl. That's gonna be your name. um, my movie's mad old. My movie's like almost like 20 years old. So I'm like mad anxious to talk about this movie because I was like in love with this movie as a kid. And I'm really like, when you revisit movies as an adult, it's different because, like you're thinking like a piece of your childhood is going to come with it. And this one did. Like, I felt like I was like a kid again, like just watching this movie over and analyzing what was happening. So I can't wait to start breaking this down. So the rules to classic versus remake, as you guys know from our previous episode, the Halloween episode, is we're gonna break this down into categories. We got plot, we got characters, we got execution, and then each round is time 5 minutes each. We're gonna shorten the time frame, and we're just gonna get our shit across. We're gonna speak our truths. We're gonna talk with our chest, and we're gonna say how we feel. We both get a chance to do that, and then the rebuttal round where we just basically get to just tell you how we feel. And then at the end, we have our closing arguments, and then you guys get to vote on who basically got the better film at hand. Is it the classic or is the remake? So it's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. You guys are just gonna be kicking it with us basically for a hot little minute. It's the whole like thing going on with Cinema Rehab. We just want you guys to hang with us, and talk movies with us.
Yeah,
Definitely.
just sit back, relax,
Yeah, definitely.
argue with them a little bit.
Oh, we gonna argue. Hold on. My bad. I forgot to say that. We fit to argue. So if you like arguments, like polite arguments, like the professional clapbacks, yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of professional clapbacks. Furthermore,
Per my last email.
per my last comment. Oh, allow me to retort. Are you done yet? If you like any of those, oh yeah, you about
I'm
to get all that.
speaking.
I'm speaking. That's her catchphrase. The "Are you done yet?" is Are you done? Are you done? Kevin, I got to borrow that. I need that for this because she be going on some tangents. You got to stop her sometimes. The "Are you done?" is like, oh, can I go? Can I go?
No, as a matter of fact, I am not done. You're going to sit there and
Definitely. All right, so I'm gonna kick this thing off. We're gonna go with me first. I want to get some stats out, and I'm gonna get the timer going. So let's get the stats going, and let's get the timer going. All right, perfect. Yo, the Mummy came out in 1999.
yep,
Oh,
it sure did.
I am showing my age out here in these streets, man. All right. Oh man, that's
I was
crazy.
a kid when it came out.
Definitely. I was a baby. I was a kid. Wasn't a baby, but I was a kid. I ain't know any better. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't know no better. I used to just watch movies because they were on at that stage of my life. I'm like, we watching Mummy tonight, like you know what I'm saying? But I didn't know. That's the best thing about the Mummy. I didn't know what I was gonna get. So that's what kills the Mummy for me. Like, it was exactly what it's supposed to be. You don't know what you're walking into. You're just walking into a movie. All right, I'm setting my timer at 5. 5 minutes is starting right now. All right, let's dig into the plot a little bit. So initially, Mummy is telling 2 stories, and you're getting a nice adventurer. The world is about to end. We got to stop the mummy, the curse, the plague. We awoken the mummy, Hemotep. He's trying to get Anaxenemon. He's trying to get his boo back. Like, there's so much going on in this movie, and I think it's so good plot-wise. Like, Stephen Sommers wrote a nice script. He directed the movie also. Stephen Sommers happens to be the Mummy director that I really think this was a good project for him because he was able to flesh out a really good story. Not only do you get a love story as well, a small little love story. They don't do too much, just a little bit. You get to weave it in there, a little bit of romance. You got a little bit of nice like comedy in there as well. So you got so many balances in tone. You got the tone is comedy, but it's still like kind of like horrific, you know? Then you got basically we're on a quest to get, you know, what's needed to stop the mummy. In fact, you were originally on a quest to find the mummy and to find gold and to find like these hidden antiquities, as they like to call it, and these treasures. Like it's like you almost get sucked into the adventure part of it, and then that's what makes you fall in love with everything that's going on. Of course, every good movie starts off with narration and, yo, this is the tale of Emotep, and, you know, he basically got with the Pharaoh's, you know, wife, you know, and obviously he was mummified for it. And, you know, the fact that he got mummified, and if he ever got released, he was gonna drop these whole plagues and drop like evil on the world. And basically he's walking evil, you know, like after you get such a beautiful tale in the beginning, you kind of already know where we're going with it. And then obviously you get introduced to all of the great characters that the mummy has to provide, which I'm going to get into the next round. But honestly, as a story, I think it's solid. It doesn't do too much. It's not all over the place. And it kept me involved for the whole ride. Like in terms of finding the mummy, how to defeat the mummy, the small little love story that was in there. I think these are the core values of the plot. And it was enough to make it a great action adventure with a little bit of horror, with a twist of horrificness in the middle of it. And yeah, that's my closing argument today for the mummy. The mummy balanced a lot of tones. Yeah, the mummy balanced a lot of tones. I'm gonna stop myself. I'm gonna restart the clock for you. And you just tell me when you're ready. Go ahead and tell me the plot of this shitty ass remake that you got going on.
You know what? I'm about done with you talking mess.
Hey, you look cute today, by the way. When would you like me to start the clock?
What else is new?
You see the mind games that got to get thrown in this? I got to give you a compliment before I talk shit.
Wish I could say the same.
You know, I don't need no compliments. I know I'm shit.
All right, go ahead.
All right, your 5 minutes start right now. Can't interrupt.
Plot here is similar but different from the original. Similar in terms of they have 2 treasure hunters who happen to work for the military. And you have one that's like conniving, Nick, will do anything that he possibly can to steal maps or what have you to find the treasures and everything. He has Vale with him, Jake Johnson. They accidentally stumble upon this secret tomb, and lo and behold, the girl that he stole the map from shows up, slaps him in the face, typical like douchebag stuff, right? What I really enjoyed about this one was the storyline for the mummy. I really did love that it was the story about a woman as opposed to the story of a man and a woman. This one towards the end turned out to be a little bit of a love story as well. You don't really figure that out until she's explaining it towards the end. But Aminette is the has the throne for Egypt until her father, his new wife, gives birth to a son. And at that point, she's like, no, I worked my whole life to prove myself that I can have this throne. No little boy is not going to take it from me. Kills the son, kills her father, even though she loved him and all she ever wanted from him in return was love. In doing so, she makes a pact with Set, who they said was the god of death. That's the only issue I had with this movie. He wasn't the god of death. He was the god of chaos and war and storms and everything. However, she had to sacrifice somebody to make Set immortal and like in human form. She never gets to solidify that. So they mummify her alive, and they have her tomb in like present day Iraq, which is like thousands of miles away from where Egypt was. They stumble upon this. Vale ends up getting bit by a camel spider, but I'm pretty sure it had some sort of like mercury poisoning too, and is now cursed. Tries to kill everybody on the plane with that tomb that they're taking back with them. And Tom Cruise, of course, comes out, shoots him 3 times, plays the hero, saves the girl, and is somehow brought back from the dead. Little did he know he's the one that's actually cursed. I truly enjoyed all of this because it is a little bit different. It's not the typical stories that you hear, like love stories or anything like that. It was true like wrath and anger and hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. And that's why I enjoyed this plot much, much better.
Are you sure you enjoyed it? Because you said you had one thing that you didn't like. You had a gripe.
Well, yeah, like historically, that's not a correct statement. I know it's a movie, but that's the only thing I didn't like.
Okay. So for the historians in the building, if you're here for historical values, then you will have a gripe, basically. Obviously, I don't go to the movies for historical facts. Anytime I go, I want to be entertained. So we're going to get into characters now. And the reason I didn't really go that hard with the characters before is because I need my full 5 minutes to go hard on the characters right now. That way I could give y'all a little bit better synopsis and a little bit better love when I explain who's up in this movie one time. So I'm setting my 5 minutes. You ain't allowed to talk. All right, so just sit there, be chill, be cool. And let me spit my 5 real quick. You ready? You ready to talk about these characters? All right. 1, 2, 3. Yo, can we talk about how Brendan Fraser is the OG, triple OG of all the G's? Now, this is what's crazy about Brendan Fraser in this movie. I did not know that he could be utilized in an action situation. And the minute we start with him in Legionnaire in the desert as they are coming up on Hamunaptra, you know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, they had a situation in which they were out there. He knows the entrance to Hamunaptra, and that's basically the city of gold, the city where everything is going down for the central plot. You get introduced to Rick O'Connell, and Rick O'Connell has an Indiana Jones kind of vibe to him. He has an adventurer kind of vibe, but he's also a rebel. He also has a little bit of that Han Solo wisecracking kind of deal. And it's honestly, it was the right post for this movie, the right selection to make him be a leading man in that type of role. Because when he does eventually meet up with Rachel Weisz, who's playing Evie in this, Evie legitimately is a book nerd. She's a historian. She's half Egyptian. Her mom got the Egyptian. Shout outs to Selena on that one. You know what I'm saying? She got the Egyptian blood, and she knows her history and she knows her lore, and she needs a little bit of adventure. She's the shy type that needs a little bit of adventure in her life. And I think Rick O'Connell came in her life at a perfect time. This is like literally fate and destiny is now working. Obviously, her troublesome brother, Jonathan, who's actually one of my favorite characters in the movie. These are your core 3 characters that you're going to be riding with. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Benny too, because Benny is the fucking troublemaker the whole film, and you needed like a little small little mini villain. So he's kind of like an anti-hero basically, but other than finding the mummy, other than discovering the mummy, obviously accidentally waking up the mummy, you're really finding out how these characters are gonna become involved in each other's lives for the whole movie. Rick O'Connell, a person that's not even supposed to care about anything, is able to basically kind of like start caring for people that he wasn't planning on caring for. Like Evie, he probably just wanted to take her to the desert, show her Hamanatra, and then he was done. And it turned out into, I care about her, I want to save her. And she literally is in danger for a good portion of the film for for what she's done, and then when we finally see Arnold Vosloo, who's playing the mummy, who plays it brilliantly, by the way, and you get to see, I know CGI doesn't hold up, but for that time frame, the CGI was remarkable. Just seeing him become the mummy and then actually turn into his original form was just excellent. And the things that they did to just basically pursue each other all the way up until the conclusion of the film, I feel like every character got to shine. Every character got to have a shining moment, especially Rick O'Connell, who was a certified G throughout the whole film. He was smart. He was funny. He was quick on his feet. He was quick-witted, and everybody complimented each other, and he made everybody around him better. The same way Evie needed him, Jonathan needed him. Like, they all work with each other to get to the central root of what they needed. And it was, honestly, as a character study, I think it was the best way to write those characters. You made them entertaining. You made them silly. They didn't take what was happening too seriously, even though there was some real seriousness taking place. So if this was like the origin story for Rick O'Connell, because I know we are forbidden to talk about sequels, and I won't talk about sequels, but I will say this: if this is the origin story of an adventurer's tale, this was the perfect origin story for Rick O'Connell. Like, he is, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the most unsung action movie heroes of all time, for sure. I think The Mummy was a great showcase for Brendan Fraser, and he's definitely my star of the film throughout the whole thing. And we got little mini performances here and there that shine well as well, but I gotta honestly put my stripes in the air for Brendan Fraser. You know what I'm saying? I want my Encino Man too. That's all I'm gonna say. All right.
We're not supposed to talk about sequels.
Well, I didn't talk about no sequels. I didn't mention names of sequels. All I said was, in terms of originities, I don't even think that's a word. Yo, I think this is a great origin tale for the Hemotep lore and for Rick O'Connell becoming an adventurer, because we saw him have a story arc change, and that's pivotal. That's all I'm going to say. Now, I have restarted the clock. You just tell me when you're ready, and I'm going to shut up.
All right. I have my notes here. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So for my cast for my movie, I mean, who else could you have play the main hero other than Tom Cruise? He's Mr. Mission Impossible. He's Mr. Machismo. He's Mr. Badass. Like, who else is going to play him? Brendan Fraser, really? All I'm going to say about that. Jake Johnson really was a great addition to be Nick's like partner in crime, yet the voice of reason. He tried to talk him out of, going treasure hunting and everything, because all he wanted to do was stay alive. And what happened? They were getting shot at like crazy. Great voice of reason. Annabelle Wallace, who played Jenny, I feel like she was a really good character in terms of like the side chick of the villains. You didn't really know who she was working for, or that she was working for the bad guys, until the middle, almost towards the end. And I feel like she disguised that very well. The love that her and Tom Cruise ended up having, that connection, that bond, if she didn't care about him or care about his life, she never would have revealed who she was to him. And she also wouldn't have defended Sophia Boutella, who plays Amunet, Princess Amunet, when Russell Crowe says that they're embalming her by injecting liquid mercury into her veins that's going to solidify so that they can dissect her. At that point, she realizes that she's working for a literal Jekyll and Hyde, and is totally against it, which brings me to Russell Crowe playing Dr. Henry Jekyll. I loved Russell Crowe as a villain in this movie. He was a literal Jekyll and Hyde, like I mentioned before, injecting himself with these medications to kind of suppress the Jekyll in him. He was specializing in like immunology and infectious diseases and everything, former neurosurgeon. So seeing him kind of try to suppress the evil, but the evil kind of takes over in the end. That to me was a really great turnaround for the movie, if that makes sense. I thought he was amazing for that role. As far as all of them working together, I really think they pulled off like the funny one-liners and clapbacks and things like that. Like when Jenny is telling Nick's boss that, yeah, he was in my hotel room and it was for like 15 seconds. And he's like, hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought that part was really funny, even though he kept trying to defend himself and nobody was just like, all right, fine, whatever. But they played their roles super cute, but also very serious. I feel like they nailed everything that the movie needed as far as the history of not just the ancient Egyptians, but the history of the jewel that was needed for the knife that belonged to Set, in order to complete the ritual, and how even that was backdated to like 1127 AD in England, and she couldn't even do anything, even though she sucked the literal life out of everybody to get back to human form. I think they did a really great job telling that story as well. I know I'm like back and forth with characters and plot, but they all kind of tie in together. I also really liked how, because of Amunet, there were like 3 different stories going on at the same time. But I think I covered everything with my characters.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You put some stank on that one. You got Jake Johnson's name correct. Yeah, no. You put some stank. I was like, okay, fine. Because the movie you described ain't the shit that I watched, but it's all good. Hey, sometimes we can even make anything sound dope. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, you should have just narrated the trailer, because you put too much stank on that motherfucker movie. That shit
I did not. The trailer was like this much compared to the entire movie. That was 2 hours long of a movie. The trailer was what, a minute and a half, and you had no idea what was going on.
You know what? That brings me to our segue. So we're gonna segue into our last category. I call this category execution. And execution, before I start this timer at 5 minutes and I get to talk my shit, because I'm about to talk some serious shit. Execution just is overall what was executed on film and what it looks like, how the lasting effects of it, and the longevity purposes of it, the rewatchability, everything. So I'm gonna get into that, and then we're gonna see what type of energy you're gonna bring to your execution when we done. All right, you ready for that? My 5 minutes start now. First and foremost, let's put some full respect on the special effects back in 1999, though. Like, we can call the remake probably better, I guess, in some terms, because they got some updated effects, but nah. Something about just Industrial Light and Magic putting in that work on the Mummy, man, the sand where he like makes his face open up and he tries to swallow the plane. Like there's a lot of iconic special effects inside that film, man, that still holds up in my opinion. You know, I think they did an excellent job of knowing when the special effects was needed versus when actual humans was needed. Even the mummy fights, you know, you had practical mummies, CG mummies, like, and there was scraps. This thing is action packed. So for you to have an action packed movie that almost is about to be 2 hours, you got to keep the audience entertained. As a kid, I was entertained. As I revisit this film again, I'm still entertained by the first Mummy. I think the first Mummy just had a pulse to it. It kept your heart pounding. Like you literally are jumping from scene to scene. Like you almost can't catch your breath a little bit with the first Mummy. I think flawless victory on that part of it. So I'm gonna put the special effects to the side. I'm gonna put the fact that they shot this thing like, wait, I think they shot this thing in Morocco. Morocco looks beautiful. The sands, like everything. It was so bright in this movie. Like you felt like you was digging with them to me. Like it just felt like you was part of this journey a little bit. And I feel like that's where sets are important. Like, you know, make sure your set is lit. Make sure your set is on point. Location, location, location. Like, I just think like Stephen Sommers did a great job of putting you in that position of, if you're going to fight the mummy, you need to be there. You need to be in Cairo. You need to be in Egypt. You need to be in these spots, you know, and I feel like the location one, the execution now, when you watch it, you can tell that they really put a lot of love into that, from the vehicles to the costumes to everything. I feel overall, I think the mummy still holds up. I think the mummy is probably going to go down as probably like Universal's baby. Like that's going to always be something to revisit. It's always going to be have that rewatchability value, just due to the fact that they gave all that attention to detail and attention to, you know, the love and the story and everything like that. Last but not least, the jokes for me. Like when it comes down to being silly, especially when serious things are happening, that's very hit and miss for me. And there was just a lot of silly things that took place in this movie that was just genuinely funny. Like, obviously, we don't want to laugh at people dying. We don't want to laugh at death. But honestly, some of this shit is funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Especially the people that deserve it the most. Like, when they finally get their comeuppance, you know? So I like basically some of the comedy that was brought to it. They didn't do too much. They did just enough to get you, okay, we're taking a break from all the horrific things. Like, you know, I just watched a man get his eyes taken and his tongue taken, you know, like, so like you need to basically know how to come in and do that. Even with simple things like Brendan Fraser holding up the cat to scare the mummy away, because obviously cats basically was like the guardians of, like, you know, like of that time frame. So of course he's going to be scared until he's fully powered, you know. But I want to end it for execution. Just I knew that this movie was good because of like the way it looked, but it's the way it feels. It's a feeling now. Like the mummy feels like you was there. Like that's the way you leave with it, and that's the way it ends, even down to the closing credits when they're on camels and they're leaving and they didn't get a chance to grab anything they wanted. But thank God, you know, Greedy Benny made sure that they were good at the end, you know what I'm saying? And they ride off into the sunset, literally, you know? And I think that was a good way to execute a good mummy film, in my opinion, versus, you know, the movie you're talking about. Go watch it.
Are you done?
Oh, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. You good. In fact, I'm going to restart your clock. You got 5 minutes to go into execution. Execution, obviously, that's on you. I got nothing to do with this. You just tell me when to press the button.
All right, go ahead. So you started with your special effects and everything. I want to start with mine. The crows making the plane crash when they were bringing back like the tomb and everything that they found, and it just so happened to crash right over England. I thought that part was phenomenal because when they started leaving like the tombs and everything, Nick notices like all these different crows hanging around, and he knew that was like a really bad foreshadowing. Like it wasn't sitting right with him. And then suddenly all these crows are what makes the plane crash, and they're like crashing literally through the windows, killing the pilots, a crow of all things. And then he kind of sacrifices himself for the greater good. He gives Jenny the very last parachute, and he goes down with the plane. But because of the curse, he doesn't actually die. The fact that he keeps seeing his dead friend Vale everywhere he goes, and keeps seeing these like not premonitions, but like flashbacks of what happened with Aminette and how now he's her chosen one and everything. Um, I thought was a really great way to kind of get more in depth of the story and give a little bit more of the background without going all the way back to when it happened. And the fight scenes with the mummies I thought were really great because when she sucked the literal life out of all of them, they didn't just die. They didn't just drop dead. They kind of became her servants. They kind of became mummies that hurt themselves. And then you have the underwater mummies. Like, how terrifying is that? You're just trying to swim up to the surface and get away from everyone, and suddenly these tombs start opening up, and they're freaking mummies swimming after you faster than what you can swim. I thought that was a really great touch. When he sacrifices himself again at the very end to save Jenny and to kind of save mankind, I thought that was kind of telling a bigger story in and of itself. He was kind of seen as this like greedy treasure hunting thief, and then he ends up proving everybody wrong by sacrificing his own life. So now he's not only forever cursed, but he's constantly trying now to find a way to break the curse so that he can be with Jenny at some point. Brings back Vale from the dead. And even then they make more stupid jokes like they did in the beginning. I'm really glad that you brought me back from the dead and all. I'm really grateful for that. But what the hell are we doing here? And he brings back the whole, come on, where's your sense of adventure? Kind of like restarting from the very beginning of where they were at. Special effects were amazing, not just because it was done in 2017 and not 1999, but it was totally different. I really loved their version of it. I really loved their ideas and their concepts of what mummies should look like, what mummies should be. Looked almost very realistic to real mummies. I don't know if you've ever seen a real mummy or not, but very, very realistic looking. The storyline also, it's like I was saying, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. She was pissed that her dad suddenly was like, no, it's going to this baby boy. And she was like, it ain't going to no man. No. The overall execution I thought was really great. Poor thing, yet again, failed. I almost started feeling really bad for Aminette. I really did. I fell for her. I really, really do. And what I loved about the ending was that it kind of leaves it open. Is there going to be a sequel or not? I'm done.
I just want to know, I want everybody to know how tough it is not to talk while she's talking. I'll be wanting to say something so bad. I'll be like,
every single time you say something stupid, I'm like,
oh man, I just be wanting to interrupt so bad. I'm so glad like you were done. Thank you for that. I'm glad you're done, by the way. Oh man, like I said, you are capping way too much for this movie. All right, so this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna press 5 again on this. We're gonna have a nice little rebuttal. I think 5 minutes should be more than enough time to have our argument. Um, I got some solid rebuttals. Uh, I guess you can retort if you want to. Ain't gonna be no retorting with what I got to say. I'm starting the clock right now. Let's just get straight into it. Really? You capping for this trash? All right, so let's start with let's start with the mummy itself. Yo, she kills like spoiler alert, y'all. Her motivations for being a mummy was already trash. Already. A
How was it trash?
power hungry princess, mad that she's not going to get.
No, not power hungry. What was rightfully hers was suddenly taken away because a baby boy is born.
When something's rightfully yours, it's yours. When something is not yours anymore, don't be a brat and kill off your pops and your baby bros and the wife.
A baby.
Are you done?
Are you done? Go ahead.
No, I'm not done. Hold on, I still got more. So you get Tom Cruise in this thing, and what for? So he could run around and scream and yell for like the next 2 hours. It did nothing, man. He brought no gravitas to this whole situation. They could have put anybody. They could have inserted a random person in there, and it would not have.
And Brendan Fraser did any better?
Absolutely.
A thief.
Absolutely.
The only reason why his life was saved is because they were using him to get to Hamunaptra.
Absolutely.
Get the fuck out of here.
Absolutely.
Nah. He was a pawn.
They found the mummy on purpose.
In greedy, rich white people's lives. He was a pawn.
Hold on. I got a question. Didn't they find the mummy by accident in your fucking movie?
Yeah.
Didn't
they find the mummy by accident in yours? They accidentally opened the Book of the Dead.
Still. At least we had somebody there that knew. We had somebody there that knew the lore, though.
Couldn't leave anything alone. She's always nosy, always getting into trouble, always causing drama. It's her own damn fault that they were being hunted by the mummy, and she should have been sacrificed.
So questions. We're talking about the actresses now. Oh, okay. Let's talk about Jenny. She's so irrelevant in this film. When I talk about irrelevant, I'm talking about irrelevant. Like her character means nothing.
Any artifacts that are found, it is her job to make sure that they don't get into enemy hands and that they're fully protected. How was that irrelevant? I mean, yeah, later on you find out she's working for the enemy, but still, she got tricked herself. She got duped.
So
what trouble did she cause?
Not only was she a double agent, not only did she not do anything but just be a foil to Tom Cruise the whole time? Then they when I say hammer fist, they hammer fist a forced love story at the end, and he gives up his soul to save her life.
Between Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. What are you talking about? Finally, at the end is when he realizes he's in love with her. Come on, she was disgusted by him. She was disgusted by him the entire movie. Get out.
Yo, check this out. Even when she got resurrected, she wasn't even grateful. She wasn't even grateful dead. She was still bland and sour. She was a Sour Patch Kid the whole film. She was
trying to go and thank him, and he's the one that told her, no, get away because I'm still cursed.
That casting was trash. Jake Johnson, lastly, he's getting trash award. The Mummy was probably your best option. That's what you went with. Sophia, what's her name? Sophia Botella. Mm-hmm. That was the best thing. Jake Johnson trying to be Griffin Dunn from American Werewolf in London, being a ghost. Terrible. And he wasn't funny the whole movie. How Nick from The New Guy ain't funny?
New girl.
How? No, my bad. New girl. My apologies. I'm so upset that we're fighting about this corny ass movie.
The scene where they're in the bathroom and he's telling Tom Cruise what's going on. Come on, you don't think that was funny? You shot me.
I didn't laugh once.
Yeah, you freaked me out
I didn't laugh at Jake Johnson one. We going real Siskel and Ebert. I didn't laugh not one time.
You didn't laugh in the beginning when he's like, "Oh my God, no, we're gonna die," and then they end up, "Oh no, it's gonna be nice."
He was like that annoying dude
and he's just yelling at him the entire time.
Do you know what I hate? I hate forced comic relief, and that's what Jake Johnson felt like. He felt like fake, like forced comic relief. Like, well, I'm going to try my hardest to make y'all laugh throughout this whole thing, and none of it worked.
Is that how you feel in every movie or show that he's in?
No, Absolutely. When he's
He
used
did literally
well,
the same
hold on.
thing.
When he's used well, then he's used well. He wasn't used well in this situation. Tom Cruise wasn't even used well in this situation. To be honest with you, the movie ain't even used well in this situation. Shout outs to
Tom Cruise
Russell
was
Crowe.
used well. How was he not? Give me an example.
First off, he's too old to even be, what was he, a special agent or whatever the fuck he was supposed to be in this movie? Like, no, I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Don't buy
So,
it. And if I want to be real fucked up, I could bring up why this shit ain't getting no sequels, but I'm gonna be cool. I'm gonna be mad cool today.
go ahead.
No, no,
Go
no. You
ahead.
know why?
I
I
dare
don't know
you.
if you heard that bell, but that bell means that's it. We can't argue no more. You said your argument. I said my argument. Everybody, you
Oh,
know
no
what
lie,
one is the
no.
better movie. I don't know what she's talking about over here, but when it comes down to it, the classic Mummy is the way to go. There is no logical other choice. There isn't. I don't know anybody in the world that likes the Tom Cruise Mummy. Not
I
one
don't know
person.
anybody that would support a fucking classic movie when their love story was her cheating on her husband.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Like that's where we go
Yeah.
with it? That's
Yeah.
where we go with it?
You're gonna support a hussy,
Hey, they killed him though. They was cool. Their love
and
was
you're
gonna
gonna support
flourish.
the side
Hey, their
dude.
love was gonna flourish until they got hated on. The karma came back for them. You know what I'm saying? I felt like you ain't get enough karma in your movie. She ain't get enough karma for killing this kid. She ain't get
Yeah, she
enough
did.
karma.
She got killed again.
Yeah, I'm good. No, I'm good on it. I'm just
And then
straight.
instead of just being wrapped up in the cloth and everything, they filled her entire tomb with mercury. How is that not karma? To make sure she's completely solidified and stuck in there.
Even her mummification wasn't that brutal to me. Like I felt like Imhotep's mummification was way more
Oh
crazier.
my God. Okay, yeah. Being eaten alive by scarabs, that's a very quick death. She
And
was
cut
mummified
his
and
tongue
buried
too.
alive without anything in her tomb. There is no way that that was quick and easy. That was slow and fucking painful. All those scarabs they threw in there, if they threw in 2 or 3, okay, yeah, slow and painful, but hundreds of them? Nah, he was dead in a second.
Are you done?
Are you done?
I'm done. I got no more
I'm done with
energy.
you.
I got no more energy to waste on
We are not
the
friends anymore.
dark universe right now. Anyway, um, me and Selena, we're gonna wrap this up. Whoever tunes into this, we just want to let you know we love y'all. We appreciate y'all guys rocking with Cinema Rehab. Back to the Claxes, obviously. Well, it's gonna always have a dose of Cinema Rehab coming at you, and we got a couple classic remakes in the works. So just come on, keep coming back. We're gonna put up a poll for this, so you guys can vote. When the episode drops, there will be a poll. So we want you guys to get interactive. We want you guys to vote which movie obviously was executed better and which movie is going to win this particular classic versus remake battle. We're going to leave some links below so you guys can follow us as usual. Obviously, anything Beat Network related, we encourage you guys to follow, tap in, enjoy. We got a music page, we got a movie page. We even got our nice news updates as well with the Beat. So just all of that love that you can spread, like, comment, share. We appreciate it. We love you guys. 1,000 followers, everybody, on Back to the Classics Facebook page. Ain't that crazy? That's a wild.
1.1 now.
1.1. Yeah, we working hard for you guys to put some content out, and we appreciate the love that you guys send back. And the conversations have been awesome, by the way, have been awesome. Like I like talking with you guys in the comment section. Me and Selena, next up, we're gonna review WandaVision. We got WandaVision episodes. Is it 4 and 5 coming up? Oh, 5 and 6, 5 and 6. Which, by the way, if y'all not watching WandaVision, oh man, it's a
And if
good
you're
time to
not,
be
what the
alive.
hell is the matter with you? Get
Yeah,
out.
it's a good time to be alive if you're an MCU fan. We're gonna shut this down. Selena, do you want to tell the good people where they can find you?
As always, I'm on Twitter at MexEgyptian.
Oh, okay. You know what? I don't have a Twitter. I think I'm just because you got one, I might start one. You're making me want to start one. I don't tweet, so but If I want to be hip like you cool kids, I might start a Twitter.
That's why you're not cool.
I know, right? I know. I need to step my cool game up. You guys can find me on Instagram, BKLB Negrito. I'm so lame. I don't got no pictures really posted. It's just me and my kids. But hey, I'm funny in the stories though. I'm definitely trying to make you laugh in them story posters for real. Facebook, Duval Brown. As you know, I'm not just D Nice. I'm actually Duval Brown. So find me on Facebook. Find me at the Back to the Classics Facebook page. Start a conversation with me. I promise you, I'll argue with you in the comment section as well. I love to argue, and I love to like comments, and I love to like posts, and I love to basically challenge anybody. Or I do like to just, kind of nerd out on movies because I'm kind of a movie nerd. That's just what I am.
And all the content that we've been getting from all of you in the Back to the Classics Facebook page, I love it. I'm here for it. I live for it. Keep it up. I'm so happy seeing all the content that you guys are putting up.
It's legitimate. I think like a lot of my friends are there, so it makes it easy for me. I'm like this, yo, man, why are you so funny? Like, wait, let me start my morning off right, type stuff. So it's been working out. We love you guys. We're out. Peace out.
Bye.